welcome to Women's Wellth, the podcast with me, Joanne. My mission is to educate, inspire, and empower you all to step into your own life of wealth. That feeling of being so rich in your mind, body, and soul. I'm so happy to have you here. Let's get straight into it. Welcome back. Welcome to YouTube, welcome to the podcast, wherever you are, welcome. So, me and Dottie bring you, I think Dottie's going to be a permanent fixture on the podcast. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see her. If you're listening, she literally, I know I said this last time, will not let me sit at the desk without joining me, but then she tries to eat my hands, and I didn't realise how much I talked with my hands until I started recording podcasts with Dottie, who tries to eat my fingers wherever they go. So hopefully she'll fall asleep. Maybe I'll just have to hold her, stroke her, and she can't bite my hands then. Let's get going. Okay, this week's podcast, I want to talk about intention setting and why I set intentions and I don't set goals. I also want to touch on, and I mentioned it this week in my vlog. So if you haven't seen the vlog, if you have seen the vlog, I'm gonna repeat a little bit today why I don't use vision boards and what I do instead. And the reason that I want to chat about this is a few people have asked me after yoga and when students come up to me, and if I talk about setting intentions in my yoga class, which I do every class, I will guide people through and say, let's set our intention. And in yoga, the Sanskrit is sankalpa. So we set our intention, and I always guide them through either how they want to feel at the end of class, or if it's a new moon or a full moon, I'll drop that in, depending on where we are in the month. So if it's the end of the month, I might say an intention to see you out of the month and into the next month. So try and give it a little bit of a time scale there. But a lot of people do ask, are they goals? What am I meant to do? So I thought, right, let me do a podcast and help people, because it can be difficult. I struggled actually when I first started setting intentions, because in my mind, I just had the good old fashioned smart targets, smart goals from school teaching. And I believe that intention setting is more important than goal setting. They're two completely different things. Once you understand the difference, then it's more clear. So intention setting is doing things, taking action steps that align with who you are and how you want to feel, not just things that you want to achieve. They do marry up together, but I really believe that if you are a goal setter, you're not going to hit those goals if you haven't got the intention behind them. You need to know what your intention is, how you want to feel, how it's in alignment before you're going to hit these goals. These goals are never going to happen if it's just things that you want to achieve, because how do you get there? It's like giving someone an empty map. Here's your start, here's your goal at the end, now make your way, but with no streets, no turns, no directions. Now, goals are often outcome driven. So we go from A to B. They're focused on external things. So I want this, and this is how I think I'm going to get there. And they are very much focused on the future. So you might have a 1 month goal, 1 year goal, 5 month goal, 5 year goals, whatever you have your goals written down. They're always set in the future. So this is where intentions also differ, because intentions are internal, they're present focused. How do you want to feel now, and how is that going to help you get to where you want to be and how you're going to feel at a certain point in time? And intentions are really there to help you with stepping into alignment. So again, a goal can be very driven by somebody else. Somebody else wants you to achieve that. Somebody else, you're doing it for somebody else. You want a pay rise to support your family. You want a new job because of X, Y, Z, or you're looking to lose weight because somebody else told you to, or you're comparing yourself to others. So all of these are very external. These are all goals that we might set because someone somewhere else has made us feel like we're not good enough. And that's not a good thing. That is not, then our goals are then not coming from a place of alignment. It's coming from a place of judgment, resentment or comparison. And what our intentions actually do is allow us to create a sense of purposeness, and empowerment. So who we are, what is our purpose, how can we get there, what action steps are we going to take, how do I feel right now, what can I do right now to support how I feel now that's then going to help me to get there. So yes, we're still looking forward at a future event, but we're dealing with it also right now, because we're not going to get that future event, that goal, if right now we're not living our best lives, or we're not stepping into our highest self, or we're not believing in ourselves, or we're full of limiting beliefs. There's no way we're going to hit that goal if we're not focusing on the small present steps that we can do now and how we feel internally. I hope that makes sense. I'll dive in a little bit deeper as we continue. So setting goals and setting intentions is also very different. So like I've just said, a goal can just be set of, okay, by the end of the year, I want to have saved this much money, lost this much weight, gone to this place, met this person, achieved this one event. So they're very much focused and it's very easy. But then what do? We write it down in our journals, we have it written somewhere, or we keep it in our minds, and that's it. That's kind of it for setting goals. And if you're in a place where you work with SMART goals, SMART targets, you might be, again, like me, so is it sustainable? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it, I can't remember what the other ones are, but we follow this pattern of, yeah, it is all of those things, but we're still not taking those small steps to help us to get there. To set intentions, it's more about why you want to do something. So why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to meet that person? Why do you want to create that podcast? Why do you want to share that on your social media? Why do you want to grow your social media in that way? Why do you, the list is endless. Always asking yourself, why? Then you have your intention, and your why will be an emotion, a feeling. I want to feel good. I want to feel confident. I want to feel proud of myself. I want to feel like I've achieved something, rather than just, I just want to tick that box off and achieve it because Dorothy next door, she achieved it and I want to do the same thing as her. And again, that's coming from a place of judgment, comparison and competition. And another nice reflection point is to ask yourself, what do you truly want to cultivate and achieve in your life right now? So yes, you might have this end point, but what do you want right now, and how can you reach that end point? By tuning into where you are now. So if your end point is weight loss, how do you want to feel now? Yes, you know that you want to get there and how you're going to feel when you get there, but how do you want to feel today? Do you want to feel stressed out because you've set yourself these targets and goals that you're not going to be able to stick to, or they're huge big jumps, or I'm going to cut out all sugar from tomorrow, I'm going to go to the gym every single day? And none of that is a feeling. So yeah, okay, you might need to do those things or want to do those things, but how are they going to make you feel? So by going to the gym each day, first of all, it's probably going to make you tired. So I would say pull back from that. I'm going to go to the gym once a week so that I can start to feel good in my body, so I can start to feel more confident, so I can start to see changes in my XYZ, fill in the gaps. And when you set your intentions, making sure that you set them in the present tense, so that we're already living this. And because we're not just looking to the future, so with goals, of course, we can set affirmations of, I am fill in the gap. Maybe it's your ideal weight, or I am driving my new car if your goal is to buy a new car. Whatever that may be, we turn this into, I choose, or I see myself. So I choose to be happy in my body. I choose to feel confident in my own skin. And with intentions as well, I would always advise or invite you to keep them small. Have one or two. And you might have this end goal, but you're going to start small with your intentions, because if your end goal and you have a year to do it, if you've got this stand set in your head that you want to achieve something at a certain time, I would say yes, keep your goal, but break it up into lots and lots of small intentions. So it might be that you have an intention every week. I shared on my Instagram stories this morning the way that I set my intentions weekly, and I reflect and I go back through them, and I might have an intention for the week to finish a certain piece of work so that I can feel that I'm moving ahead and I can take the stress off myself. But life happens, things get busy. So I don't beat myself up about that. I'll roll it over, or I'll reflect and think, okay, I was trying to bite off too much. And instead of, having this goal of I have to do this, and if I don't do it, that is when we become unmotivated, because we have this huge list of to-dos that we haven't achieved. So we're like, oh, what's the point? I'm not going to finish anyway. I hope that makes sense. So with intentions, they're small. So my intention for last week was to finish the 3rd module, but that was also my intention for the week before as well. And I didn't have chance. So I was like, okay, just so I feel ahead of myself, and I am ahead of myself, just so I can feel calm in my nervous system, I'm going to aim to finish it at the end of next week instead. So reflecting on where it didn't happen, so that I can then inform the 2nd week or whatever. And there's lots of obstacles that we might come across when setting intentions and our goals, but I'm only going to focus on intentions from now on. So of course you can set goals, but we're going to focus on the intentions you're going to set leading up to that goal. So it can be that you set intentions and you're suddenly full of self-doubt and fear. I can't do that, I'm not going to be able to achieve that. And this is where the small intentions come in, because we can make them even smaller. So if your intention is to lose weight and you know that you need to go to the gym, but that is really daunting and it fills you with self-doubt and fear, then you're going to start small and have an intention of, I'm going to walk somewhere. I'm going to have a 10-minute walk twice a week, until you feel the confidence of, okay, I'm ready to go to the gym, and then I'll walk on the treadmill. And I'll just stick to walking on the treadmill until I feel ready to step it up a little bit. Instead of writing down this, I'm going to go to the gym and do all of the things and expect yourself to be an expert in going to the gym instantly, because it all takes time to build up. And that applies to everything. If you're losing weight, if you're trying to work on your mental health, because we all beat ourselves up of, right, okay, I'm going to stop worrying. I'm going to stop thinking about that. And I've tried it. I've been there. I've spoken about my anxiety and my mental health, and the amount of times that I right, that's it. I'm going to stop that. And the more that you try and stop it, the more that it actually comes into your head, because then you're making it taboo, and your mind is like, oh, you're thinking about the thing that you're not meant to be thinking about. So I would start, when I was working on my anxiety, I started small of, I'm not going to think about that today, or I'm not going to think about it, and if it pops into my head after 12 o'clock, I might, and I used to allow myself some thinking time for these things, so that I wasn't completely just trying to override my mindset, because I knew that it was going to be a journey, because I'd spent so long just trying to push it out that then I realized that this is hard. I need to start small. And I would give myself worry time. I'm like, right, okay, I'm going to let myself worry for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to write it down, or I'm going to do whatever, or then I'm going to go for a walk, and then if it comes into my head, I'm going to send it away with my breath. And eventually I didn't need the worry time, because if the thought came in, I would take a minute, I'd send it away with my breath, or I'd say, thank you, not today, whatever, how it works for you. Daily distractions, like I've just said, I had an intention to finish a module last week, and then life happened, but that's okay, as long as you do stay focused on where you want to be, because being busy and not having time can't always be an excuse, because if it's something that you want to achieve, unfortunately you do have to make time for it. You do have to put that in your day, because it's never going to happen. So if you're excuses that you don't have time, you need to start small again. So your intention is to spend 5 minutes doing it and then 10 minutes doing it. And what you're actually also doing there is building habits of spending time on it. I've had to do the same for myself with working on my toolkit and re-entering the world of mentoring and leaving other things behind of, okay, 2 hours a day. Otherwise, I procrastinate and I do other things. So making sure I get my 2 hours done. And if I don't have time to do that 2 hours, I don't beat myself up about it. I just have a look and think, right, okay, my intention now is to do this. So I'm going to roll that into tomorrow and I'll push everything else back. Because I know that my end goal is to complete that toolkit by a certain date. So yes, I have that end point. I know I use the word goal there. My intention is to complete it by a certain date. And all of these smaller intentions each week working up to it. Because if I'd have just said to myself, okay, I'm going to get it done by the 11th of the 11th, on the 10th of the 11th, which is actually my birthday, I would have been cramming it all in. Hello, student life. How I used to work when I was a student at university. I was definitely a night before girl.
Just interrupting this episode to remind you to please like, subscribe, drop 5 stars if you enjoy listening to my podcast. It really does mean the world to me. And also to remind you, you can now watch every episode on my YouTube channel. Head to YouTube, type in Joanne Wellth, and I'll see you there.
Other things that we might do is not give ourselves enough clarity, not getting clear on why we're working towards the intention and what outcome we're actually looking to have, be too vague. And even though it's us and it's yourself, and you would think that you would know, when we're setting these intentions, we need to be clear on, okay, this is my endpoint, this is my intention, this is how I want to feel, these are the emotions that I want, and getting clear on that, scripting it, writing it down, visualizing it, making sure that you know exactly where you're going, because if you are too vague and if you don't really know, you won't do it, because again, you won't have that end point. So just using myself and mentoring and my toolkit again, I set myself the finish date before I even started because I needed that point of reference. I also started talking about it on social media so I have that accountability. Because again, if I hadn't have set that point and set myself a clear path of where I'm going and when I need to be finished, I will have just been doing this for months and months and months. Also, perfectionism. I think I've kind of just touched on that you have to let go of perfectionism. You have to let go and allow yourself to make mistakes and allow yourself to learn and allow yourself to reflect and see, okay, that didn't work, I'm going to try this way, and learning from that. Let go of perfection. There's no such thing as perfect in anything, I believe, other than the dogs. So anything that you're doing, there's always a chance. If we just let go of being perfect, we would hit that feeling anyway. But because we have this perfect here, we need to be here. Even when you're so close to this imaginary perfect that you put there. So we need to let go of it because we'll never see that we're perfect in ourselves. We'll look at other people and see it. So let go of being perfect. Do not ever strive for perfection. When we're working with intentions, they also allow us to be flexible because again, we can mix, we can match. We don't have to hit this certain point. We can play around. We can take the pressure off us tenfold because it's an intention, it's an emotion. I'm going to feel this way, I'm going to achieve this, and these amazing things are going to happen. Instead of, I feel like when you were doing a goal, it's like stamping in, you know, the old fashioned when they do the wax, where are my words? The print, and they did the wax and the stamp and the wax, and that's it. You've done your goal, that's it. You've got to get there at that amount of time, otherwise you're not a good person. And we put this pressure on ourselves, and then we end up focusing on a process rather than a result. And again, with an intention, we're focusing on the end result being an emotion, an achievement, a sense of well-being, a sense of wellness, a sense of feeling proud for yourself and reaching this goal, see how difficult it is because we're so pre-programmed, this should be your goal. We're reaching this intention and we're reaching this place of consistent action and enjoying the journey on the way, instead of it being a trudge, instead of it feeling like we're forcing ourselves. And like I just said, it's feelings based, not achievement based, because intentions are how you want to feel rather than the achievement. So once you have that feeling, you already feel amazing. With a goal, if you don't know what you're striving for and you don't know the feeling, then when you get there, are you necessarily going to feel good about it? Because you haven't focused on the real outcome. So yes, you might lose weight, you might get the job, you might get whatever it is that you're seeing as your goal. But when you get there, are you actually going to be happy? Because do you know the reason why you want to get there? And with health and wellness, it is all emotion based. And even when we're losing weight, we need to take away the aesthetics of because I want to look good, and really focus on feeling good, longevity, being healthy, being able to play with your children. And that goes for mental health. So for me, having the intention to feel happy one day at a time, to not worry one day at a time. So I knew that at some point I would wake up and not be anxious every single day. But I had to give myself that journey to get there, that day by day to get there. Otherwise I never would have got there. Because if I was just focusing on a goal to not be anxious, it's an impossible goal. I can't even explain how impossible it is, because it is just, you'll know this if you have suffered with anxiety yourself, that you can't just switch it off and say, right, okay, by the end of the month I'm not going to be anxious anymore. Ted. And just sticking with anxiety just for a moment, that for me, working small, just one morning at a time, finding what worked for me. So my intention was to obviously not feel anxious. So I'm going to go for a walk. Okay, if walking didn't help, I would do yoga. If yoga did help, so I can't use that example. I tried running for a bit, it didn't help. I just got stressed out because I didn't really, I like running, but I didn't enjoy it, and it didn't help my anxiety. I felt like it was my cortisol levels were spiking because of the run, and what I needed to do was bring everything down, which is another reason why I did start going to yoga, because I knew that helps your cortisol levels. I'm going to do another podcast on that. So it was a day-to-day thing. Let's try this. Let's go for a run. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to try these gym classes. I tried the gym. I got a PT. I did all the weightlifting, did all the things until I found what actually worked for me, what actually allowed me to achieve my intention of feeling happy, feeling safe, feeling secure in my own mind. And a lot of people use vision boards for their goals, with pictures of houses and cars and clothes. I feel like these, again, are more focused on a goal, but more of the materialistic side. They don't always help to keep you present. And I had vision boards with houses and cars and holidays that I wanted to go on. And it wasn't until I actually started to refocus my intentions on the emotions and the feelings that I actually started to see things coming through. And I also learned that by putting these things on the vision board, I wasn't even clear myself why I wanted it. Why did I want the big house? Why did I want the car? I've taken the car off now, and I don't have the house on there anymore either. What I actually did for my vision board is I turned it into, so my Pinterest, I had my vision board on Pinterest and I had it as my screensaver, like everybody does. And I scrapped that for Pinterest boards, and I looked, and I have one for each area. So there's 8 areas of life. There is, I'm not going to remember them off the top of my head, so they're on my life balance wheel. You have your environment, you have your job and career, you have your hobbies, you have love and relationships, you have spirituality, you have family and home life. What are the other 2? I can't remember, but I have a Pinterest board then for each one of those. And when I'm pinning to the Pinterest board, I'm not just thinking, oh, that looks like a nice beach holiday. I'm thinking about, okay, how will I feel if I was on the beach? I would feel relaxed, I'd feel loved, I'd feel safe, I'd feel secure, I would feel at peace, at ease. So when I'm pinning these pictures, I'm also linking them to an emotion. The same with, obviously have a Pinterest board, obviously, for the wedding, and it's not just, oh, these are all the things I want at the wedding. I'm thinking about, how would this make me feel having this at my wedding? And of course, some of it is because it looks pretty, that's okay. But then other things are because, okay, I want this because I want to make this person, some of it's about making other people feel happy as well. My intention is to make people feel comfortable when they come to the wedding. Some people are traveling thousands of miles to come to the wedding. So when I'm putting that on, I'm like, oh my God, this person's gonna love this. And my intention there is to also make them feel happy. And of course, it's my wedding day and I want to also be happy, but that will make me feel happy if I am making them feel happy. I hope that makes sense. So it's not all just about pretty table decorations, although maybe that Pinterest board is a little bit about that. So try that. If you want to know the 8 areas, let me know and I will send you the life balance wheel that I use in my mentoring program, because they're all on there. Create your Pinterest board, and instead of just putting things on a vision board that's very materialistic, think of the emotion that it's going to give to you. So if you're trying to, if it's love that you're looking for and your vision board is full of people in relationships, what are the feelings you want to get from those relationships? Why do you want to bring that into your life? And think about how that is going to make you feel. I would also say, and I've spoken about this before, try scripting. And I do this a lot. I'm actually going to finish my podcast today and do a little bit of journaling because I haven't done any for a few days and I feel like I need to write down, but my journal's actually here. I script, and I do this in the morning at the beginning of the week when I'm setting my intentions of this week I am, or this week I see myself. And sometimes I'll write, so I have, when it's a new moon, I will always write maybe even a year ahead. So it's the end of August 2025 and this has happened and I feel amazing. All of these opportunities came my way. So yes, it's the things that I want and I want them to happen, but I feel so loved, I feel so lucky, I feel like I've really achieved working within my purpose. So the feelings that I want, so I'll write from my future self that, oh my God, I'm so happy that these things happened and this is how I feel. And when you're scripting, I would also say to use your senses. And I feel, stepping back into my school teacher era here, that using your 5 senses to help you describe, what can you hear, what can you see, what can you smell, what can you taste, what can you touch. And I use this in visualizations as well. And when I'm working with clients, asking them to look at their future self, what does she look like, what is she wearing, what perfume has she got on, has she got makeup on, what makeup is she wearing, who is she talking to. So I really make sure that they can feel and see this in their minds. So if you can see it, if you can feel it, it's going to happen. So it's all bringing this together. So you walk around in the day, even though that intention might not have happened yet, but you're feeling that. You feel amazing. You already have hit your ideal weight. You've already hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. You've already hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. You've got a reel that's gone viral for 1 million. Some of these things that I have is my own intentions to help me to boost my networking, my business. But instead of it just being a goal of, oh, I want 10,000 followers and I want 10,000 subscribers, how's that going to make me feel? One of the emotions that comes to me when I think about that is, it means that I'm able to touch more and more people. And I know that I always say that if one person listens to this and it makes a difference, if 2 people, and I'm obviously not going to push myself into thousands and thousands, but if I know that I'm connecting with more people, then deep down inside I know that my voice is reaching the people that need to hear it. So try it. See if you can make scripting, journaling, intention setting part of your daily practice. If not weekly, do it on a Sunday night before the start of the week. But release attachment. So again, when we're looking at goals and we have so much attachment on that end product, release attachment on that and really drag it down into tiny steps. And if it helps for you to have that end goal, and then all the tiny steps that are going to help you there are your intentions, and link them each to an emotion, then you'll see that the emotion that's going to come through in that end point. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if anything I said today resonated. Drop me a comment. If you're on YouTube, reach out to me if you're listening to this, and I will be back next week. Thank you all for listening. Hope you have a lovely, whatever day it is that you're listening to this, whatever time of day, morning, evening, afternoon, and I'll see you all in the next podcast.